I don't think I need to be the first one to tell you that the world is going crazy. The world is going nuts. You just turn on the news and something new and wild and dangerous is happening out there. It's really no telling what'll happen next in this plot. This doesn't know what's going to happen next, what the surprise twist is going to be. It's going to be shocking, all right, and the rest of this year, okay? It's going to be really interesting this second half of 2024. But there's one thing that I think everybody on Earth, or, people that can at least understand or agree with me on this, is that now is as good a time as any to go on vacation, just to leave wherever you are. It could be here in America, it could be in Canada, Mexico, it could be all over the world in Europe, Africa, Asia. It's just now is the perfect time to get out there and see the world and travel and just leave whatever circumstances that you feel are dragging you down. And with that, I thought it would be very important to talk about or to read these Tripadvisor reviews. I thought that this would be funny. So welcome back to the When You're Podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're reading Tripadvisor reviews, bad Tripadvisor, Tripadvisor reviews. These are just some funny stories or some funny reviews that are found on Tripadvisor, which, people who go on, you get it, right? It doesn't have to be this big complicated thing. Anyways, I'm going to read a couple of here, and I thought that would be a funny little interesting one. It's summertime, everybody's going on vacation. You would think that people would have some good experiences, hopefully, you know what I mean? And then the, other half is people are going to have some bad experiences. So anyways, let's get on to this first one. This first one is Zoo Days, Sexual Predator Emu. Wow, that is a bold statement. As my partner and I strolled around the children's section of the zoo, an emu got a bit too friendly with me, rubbing itself against me. I pushed it away, and it decided to go ejaculate on some poor lady. Oh my gosh, that is wild. I've never... those emus are pretty crazy. What I'm thinking of an ostrich. Is it that big? I don't remember the size of an emu. I mean, I've definitely heard people talking about them. I just don't know. Damn, it just went crazy like that. That's pretty wild. In the children's section, no less. So, I mean, I'm hoping, or at least hoping, that this woman was, I'm just hoping that it was age appropriate. You know what I'm saying? It's not some kid, right? I don't know, dude. This is very weird. This has to be up there. This is definitely a crazy trip. You go spend all that money you go to the children's section, and you think, oh, we're just going to go to the petting zoo. We're just going to take a look at some of the fun animals, you know what I mean? The children's section is just, let the kids have fun and touch stuff and hang out with the animals. Be friendly, you know what I mean? Get the full experience. And then that happens to you. Wow. That is nuts. But hey, at least it was a bird, you know what I mean? Could have been some other crazy animal. Anyways, 2, or this is the second one. Just poo it. There was poo in the kettle. Do not stay in this absolute dump of a hotel. And I use the term hotel very loosely. I cannot convey strongly enough how disgusting this place is. Blood-stained headboards that have clearly been up since the World War. The first one. Rude staff. Windows that won't close. No hot water. Broken furniture. Dirty utensils. Broken light fixings. And actual poo in the kettle. Pretty sure I'm going to end up with some sort of rash/disease due to sanitation conditions, similar to those of a homeless crackhead. In summary, this place is a complete joke. Wow. And this was back in 2011, September 11th. That is nuts. That is wild. But this was over 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Why did I say it like that? Is, maybe they cleaned up. I don't know this exact I don't know this exact hotel, for instance, but I can honestly say that in 10 plus years, time has gone by. Maybe they fixed it. You know what I mean? Maybe they've done their thing and have really changed. So, that's all I can say about that. That is, they have a good use of words here. All right, they definitely know how to articulate all of the wrong things that have happened. But it's easy to explain once you've lived it. You know what I mean? Once you have that experience. So sorry to these people. Awful. Beware of building. If buildings could speak, this one would be screaming, "Run away!" Bits of this building, banisters, door handles, etc., will literally come away in your hands, leaving you clutching a shard of sharpened wood or metal. Probably very handy if the place was overrun by zombies, but otherwise just a touch concerning. The bathroom itself resembled a dirty cupboard designed by the inventor of Tetris. Everything was jammed at bizarre angles in order to make it fit. One would need to be a most practiced contortionist to use the sink or the shower. Brilliantly, the toilet wasn't actually fixed to the floor, like some kind of cunning booby trap for the weary contortionist factor. Wow. I can only imagine how messed up some of these hotels might be, or buildings. The wood, the door handles would break in your hand. That's pretty funny. Is that you're trying to... Imagine if you hate the hotel, you try to leave, but the door handle breaks on you and you're stuck in the room and you can't contact anybody because maybe the hotel has bad reception or service. That's a pretty funny, that's a funny, short film or film idea, is that the horror is not explicit, you know what I mean? It's not like literal ghosts or zombies or anything, or vampires or whatnot, right? It's not like somebody's trying to attack you and kill you. It's that the hotel is so bad that it's unbearable, and it's like a horror story. Something new happens. So you go to a hotel, it's a terrible hotel, and because the hotel is terrible, you're like, I'm gonna leave. The door handle breaks. Then you try to call, you have no reception. Then you try to get out the window. The windows are slammed shut. You try to go to the bathroom and there's poo all over the place in the bathroom, or you can't get in the shower. There's no hot water. There's, you know what I mean? It's just like a nightmare every single step of the way. And it's just that's the horror story. And then you had plans to go with friends, but you can't leave the room. It's just all of these little details. The building starts collapsing in on itself. That's actually a funny idea. Anyways, no beetles either. Disappointed by the lack of zebras. I was told to check out the zebras crossing Abbey Road whilst in London, but didn't see any. Perhaps you have to come at night to see them. There were lots of people there looking for them, but didn't see a single one. I'd recommend London Zoo at Regent's Park over Abbey Road for zebras. I don't know if this is a joke, if somebody lied to them, or if there actually was zebras, but I don't know. People fall for anything these days, so let's not be crazy here. Zebras on Abbey Road. That just doesn't sound right. Anyways, this just in, beaches are sandy. Beach is too sandy, but clear water. It's a great beach, just too sandy. Very nice for swimming. Water was so clean and crystal clear. Overall nice experience on, I don't know if that's Turnen or Tummen. You know how the R and the N kind of mix and it looks like an M or a R? On Tummen, I think it's M. On Tummen Beach. Recommend travelers to visit anyways. I mean, What kind of a review is this? I was expecting more wild stories. This is just somebody complaining that there was sand on the beach. I mean, this is, you know, that is, you can't even be mad at the review. You just have to like understand that the person who wrote it is not the sharpest tool in the shed, you know what I mean? So you just gotta leave them be. Anyways, Museum of Wieners. This should be good. Weird, but how can you not go? So not surprisingly, this museum has wieners of all kinds of animals. What? Okay. They even have a room with folklore creature doings. So if you want to see an elf, troll, ghost, or zombie cow member, this is the place to go. Gift shop isn't great. Wish they had magnets that weren't condoms. Now, why? That is crazy. Weird, but how can you not go? I mean, they definitely have the right idea, but it's just that, like, I mean, if you want to see an elf, troll, ghost, or zombie cow member, I don't want to see any of those things. Like, that is some weird. I mean, it's weird, but it's like, kind of like, I wouldn't want to spend money to go there. You know what I mean? Like, if it was just like a funny little gag, maybe, but like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Then he's complaining about the gift shop. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that gift shop either, all right? Probably just like a sex store. Okay. The Long Wall of China. Too long. I didn't even bother. All right. Okay. I built a just wall. So? Why should I be impressed? Back in my days, the walls were more beautiful and they didn't have to be so tall. Come one? Oh. Come one? I didn't feel good with my leg that day, and my wife really wanted to visit all the Chinese wall. And I said, okay, let's do it. But I soon understood that it was definitely too long for me, and I got tired. I failed in front of my wife because of this wall, so I'm not going to be back there. Well, I imagine that's got to be a pretty long walk, if you make it to the Great Wall of China. They don't give much information about this man, but I can imagine the walls he's talking about are brick walls. You know what I mean? The Great Wall of China is a magnificent piece of architecture. I just don't know. You know, I imagine that if I were to ever go to the Great Wall of China, I would be like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I'd probably go for like a little bit of a run, you know what I mean? And then walk the rest of the way. It's probably a long walk, no doubt. But like, at least I know what I'm getting myself into. This guy was like, blames the wall for existing. When it's like, no, you could have just explored a little bit of it and then be done with it. But your wife wanted to go visit it, and you thought that, oh, I can do that. And then you got bored. So really, you're upset at your wife. And yourself, mostly. You're mostly upset with yourself. I don't know. Does this deserve a low rating? Not really. No. Get out of hair. They spat in my hair. My girlfriend were having a romantic meal. However, it was spoiled when an employee spat in my hair. Cheeky or what? Value 1. Atmosphere 1. Service 1. Food 1. I mean, that is some terrible customer service. I don't know how to do it any more plainly than that. It's just, yeah, that's not the way to do things. Anyways, moving on. The haunting. Haunted. Stay out of it. It's haunted. I saw the ghost in my room over my 4-year-old boy. I screamed and ran out my room. We collected our thing and checked out in the middle of the night. The rude man in the front desk wanted to charge us for a day while we only stayed 6 hours after checking out my sister. Well, 6 hours. After checking out, my sister told me she heard water flushing in the toilet, and my nanny saw the TV channel switching by itself while my kids watching Tom and Jerry, but they didn't think that it was really haunted. Or our room number was 303. Value 1. Location is excellent. They give it a 5. Rooms 1. Cleanliness 2. Service 1. But let's talk about that location, huh? That's awesome. I imagine what can location wasn't enough for this couple, or for these people, for this family. So they were haunted, so to speak. The value was low. The rooms were not good. The cleanliness was a 2. So I imagine that means that it was like you could tough it out, you know what I mean? Like you could spruce it up a little bit. It's not like dirty. You know what I mean? There's no poo in the kettle on this one. But it's just that, like, it's not amazing. It's not wow. You know what I mean? And the service is not good either. So, but the location is excellent. So this got like a 1 rating, right? Overall. But the location really carried. It's probably the reason why they went. The location. So, where is the cutoff? Where's the, like, if they had gotten better service, would that make up for it? If the room was cleaner, would that, where's the balance, right? Like, the location's a big one. So I imagine that the value would have to be cheaper. The rooms would have to be, I guess, a lot bigger or a lot better. The cleanliness would have to improve. I mean, there's a bunch of things that they could do well. We're looking at, like, I'm talking about, like, what does the location need, or this hotel at this location? Because they got the location. It's just they need a little bit of extra push to get it to, like, at least a 3-star rating. But anyways, moving on. Ron Swanson's review of Big Ben. A huge clock. I think there is a lot of fuss over nothing really very special. Maybe because I saw it in the morning and it wasn't so appealing to me as it would have been if I had seen it at night. We took some pictures of it and we went on to our next destination. I mean, yeah, it's a very well-constructed clock, I've never seen it myself, and I'm pretty sure I would really enjoy it, but, cool. All right, not so happy hour. Found a dead cockroach in my gin and tonic. Hi, I visited this restaurant last night with my husband. We chose it in a sea of other restaurants as it had a chic exterior, but this is all that is good about it. We ordered 2 gin and tonics as we reviewed the menu. When they arrived, I noticed there was something floating in my drink. The restaurant is quite dark inside, and I looked to see if there was anything similar in my husband's drink. There wasn't. On closer inspection, I noticed to my horror that it was actually a dead cockroach floating in my drink. I was totally horrified and could not quite believe it. My husband showed it to the waitress, who looked shocked and went off to replace it. We swiftly left. There was no way we were eating there given this. Please don't be fooled by this restaurant's chic looks. I dread to think what the kitchens look like. Please stay clear. And they all got 1 ratings. That's wild that they served that. How do you think the cockroach died? How do you think it just got in there? You think it was like the staff pranking somebody, or like that would be a pretty funny way to, like, tank a restaurant. Is that, like, oh, you know what it would be? It would be like McDonald's, right? Like, McDonald's is $1 billion company, right? So if one of their locations is terrible, they're still going to be up because they're going to put money into the location, right? Like, have you ever seen a McDonald's get taken down? Me neither. Why? Because they need the location. They like the location, you know? It's a business, right? So even the lowest rated McDonald's stays up. So imagine if you did everything you could to mess with the menu, like just to get customers to stay away from it, right? Like if let's say the McDonald's you go to, or like the closest fast food place, right? You go to, imagine if they served you a cockroach in your burger, drink, whatever, right? You would be like, dude, this is disgusting. And you would never go back to that McDonald's, right? So therefore, the employees that work there sabotage the restaurant so that way you and other customers don't go there, but they still get paid. So it's like a perfect balance of everything. It's like you get to go to work, you get paid, but you don't really have any customers. So now with that being said, yes, they'll probably figure out a way to like, I guess they would just look for a way to set you up for success. You know what I mean? Like, if, you know, they'll probably do some like retraining. They'll probably clean the place up. They'll probably may remodel it. I don't know. But I'm just saying that in the long run, that's actually a pretty funny idea of like employees literally sabotaging a restaurant so that way they don't have to work as hard. You know what I mean? Like, just do the bare minimum to survive, and then that's it. Like, imagine that McDonald's I explained, the one that like served you a cockroach. You know, they have to meet like a certain quota in order to stay financially viable, or like to stay in the game. And I imagine that like that's like they barely make it to survive, like however often they have to. And they'll stay afloat because the business is booming, and maybe they just miss it or they don't care about it. I don't know. But that was my thinking when I saw this, when I read it. All right. No redeeming qualities. Highly overrated. The world's most highly overrated. Ha 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 ha. Wonder of the world. Just a concrete pillar. I spent a total of 5 minutes there. And I don't know to what they are referring. A tall concrete pillar. Maybe they went to Washington, D.C.? I don't know. But hey, funny, crazy stuff. You know, I think that emu was really wild. That emu was probably the wildest thing. So, crazy. All right. The British Museum had lost its charm. No attempt to excite people or for them to get involved. Just putting things on stands for people to look at is now in the past. People need more from a day out. So they just went to a British museum and they found it boring. Which, I mean, some museums are boring. You know, you got to really be interested in the history of it. I think there were a few times like going to like the Natural History Museum, I found the most exciting thing about going there was probably what's it called? They had this documentary on blue whales, and they had like a movie theater where you could sit down and watch it. And I thought that was the most fascinating part of the whole exhibit for me, was getting to, and it was an exclusive documentary. I tried to find it afterwards, like on my phone. I couldn't find it. And I was just like, that was such a beautiful documentary, and it was so expertly crafted for those museums. I felt very grateful to experience it or to watch it then and there. I don't know if they change it every so often or how long they play it for, but it was really beautiful, and I found myself calmed by it, and I really took in the information a lot better that way, as opposed to walking to each like little exhibit here and there. So, but yeah, I guess they're right. It's just like just seeing things isn't enough. I feel like there has to be some sort of a interaction with it. You know what I mean? Even like a little quiz, you know. But anyways, do we need to review the definition of the word park one more time? Just some grass and trees. It's just grass, trees, overpriced cafes, surrounded by buildings in a square. Filmed from a helicopter, it might be interesting, but you will not be able unless you have military permission. Boring. So, I guess this guy's talking about Central Park, and he was just like, it's just some grass and trees and whatnot. I mean, I enjoyed my time in Central Park. I didn't get to do like a whole lot in the park, but I thought it was a nice, refreshing change of atmosphere as opposed to looking at buildings and the streets and cars, you know what I mean? I like the refreshing aspect that there's still nature inside the city. So I like that part to it. So yeah. Okay. Happiest place on earth, indeed. Goosed by Goofy. Oh boy. Okay, it was a long time ago, but I can never go back here because when my son was 4 years old and I was having a photo taken with Goofy, the idiot in the costume goosed me. I had a shortish dress on. I grinned and bared it and never went back. Also, almost died of food poisoning in Epcot at a buffet. So yeah, it was the late 80s and I hope they have improved their service, but Goofy ruined the Disney experience for me forever. The food poisoning wasn't scary too. Culprit most likely due to friend's sickness, the lasagna, so I have hated theme parks ever since. Thanks, Goofy. Now that's just awful. You know what I mean? Goosed by Goofy, that is unforgivable. I seriously hope he has changed his ways. Hi, have you met Las Vegas? She's fun, but kind of loud. Unbelievable nightclub noise till 4 a.m. It is unimaginable that anyone would want to stay at this hotel. I stayed in room 2438 of the Encore Wind Tower. I was blasted from my bed at 2 a.m. from the incredible bass hammering of a nightclub. The hotel could do nothing. Do not think of staying here unless you like being up all night. You know, I've always thought about that, like those concerts or those big venues or like those big DJ sets that they have in like a hotel. Like, you know what I mean? Like you go to a hotel, it's like a EDM concert of some sort, but they do it in like a hotel space. I don't know. How do you get any sleep? Because they will stay up all night. You know what I mean? All morning. So it's kind of hard to think like, how do you get any sleep? But, you know, once you're out, you're out. So not that big of a deal. Okay. So, kind of like how the pyramids are just pyramids. Just a wall. I visited about a year ago through winter with a few friends. When we were on our way to the Great Wall, the view of it was astounding and completely breathtaking. But as we started climbing the wall, I was quite disappointed. There were no available guides in English, and we were all condemned to wander around the wall and poke, guess what this and that hole were from/for. I was quite disappointed and really wanted to know more about the wall. If I were to suggest something, it would be to look up some historical facts about the wall before going. The fact that I went through winter didn't influence the amount of tourists that climbed the wall, so beware, the wall is always full. I mean, again, I don't know, they're talking about the Great Wall at Mutianu. I hope I said that right. I mean, I don't know, dude. This is what bothers me about people who like leave reviews is that like, yeah, you're saying some pretty obvious stuff. Like I'm with you, but like everybody's experience is different, completely different. You know, you may not have liked it, but I guess it's more about who you have along with you. That matters more, right? Like, yeah, I would probably be bored with that wall too. Like, I won't lie. I'd probably be bored to be at that wall. But it's like, you know, showing up and being there with like your group of friends, it's like a field trip, you know what I mean? You make the most out of it. You make the wall fun, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I guess it's like a cautionary tale or just like, hey, if you don't find this interesting or if you don't like this or whatnot, like, don't do it. And I respect that. I think that's fair. You know what I mean? I just don't like how it's always like, it's boring and I don't like it and you shouldn't like it either. It's like, well, it's just there. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe find something else to do. It just feels like a waste to like hate it so much. But then again, it's like, it's probably the best thing to like tell people it's boring. So don't waste your money on it, essentially. So yeah, those were a few reviews. They weren't as crazy as I thought they would be. They weren't as funny as I thought they would be, but I feel like more and more, maybe we should like give these places. There's probably a TV show about like the worst rated hotels. I'm certain there has to be. It's too good of a thing not to do, but I don't know. I feel like that would be really funny to like try that or to do it. So yeah. Anyways, guys, if you're thinking about going on vacation, stay away from those places. Stay away from those hotels. Even though I don't know those hotels, just look for that Tripadvisor review and they'll tell you all you need to know. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.